Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our previous video, we covered questions from 1 to 10 on cultural awareness and other topics from articulation exams. So if you haven't watched that yet, make sure to check it out. It's packed with tips you don't want to miss. In today's video, we are continuing the series with questions 11 to 20. I'll break down each scenario, give you the correct answer and explain them in a way that's super easy to understand. So let's get started with our question number 11. Scenario 11. During a sprint planning session, your team disagrees on the effort estimate for the user story. What should you do as a Scrum Master? Options are: take the average estimate, assign your own estimate, facilitate discussion to reach consensus, or option D is keep the story for now. Here, this scenario checks your understanding of the Scrum Master's roles in sprint planning. Here, the correct option is option C. Why? The Scrum Master's role is not to estimate but to facilitate healthy discussion. If team members give different estimate, it usually means they have different levels of understanding, different assumptions or hidden risk. So instead of averaging or skipping, the Scrum Master should encourage conversation, help clarify doubts and guide the team to a shared understanding. So once everyone understands the story clearly, they can agree on a realistic estimate. So this support team collaboration, transparency and accurate planning. So correct option is option C. Next scenario. You are working in an agile team where one member always dominates discussion. What is the best way to handle this? Options are: ask the member to leave meetings. Option B, ignore the issue. Option C, set ground rules for equal participation. Or option D, let them lead all meetings. So this scenario checks how well you understand collaboration and communication in agile teams. So correct option is option C, set ground rules for equal participation. Why? So in agile, every team member's input is important, whether it's developer, tester, designer or product owner. When one person dominates, others feel hesitate to contribute, which reduce creativity, innovation and team ownership. So the solution is to set clear ground rules such as everyone gets a chance to speak, use time boxing or encourage turn taking. As Scrum Master or Facilitator politely balance participation. So this create a safe collaborative environment where all voices are valued. So for Agile or articulation exams, if the question mentions that team member collaboration dominance or low participation, always choose the answer that promotes equal participation, healthy discussion, or respectful communication. So here option C is correct. Next scenario. A remote stakeholder joins your sprint review and says, "This is not what I expected." What should be your response? So options are: end the call immediately, tell them the requirement was clear. Option C, listen to their feedback and document it for the backlog. Or D, defend the team's work aggressively. So this scenario tests our understanding of how to handle stakeholder feedback in Agile, especially during sprint review. So here the correct option is option C. Why? Because sprint review is not a final approval meeting, it's feedback meeting. Agile welcomes changes even late in development because the goal is to deliver what the customer actually needs, not just what was initially understood. So by listening, clarifying expectations and documenting feedback, you avoid misunderstanding and improve future sprint outcomes. So this shows openness, collaboration and customer focused mindset, which are key principles of Agile. So in Agile or articulation exam, when the questions involves a client or stakeholder reacting negatively, the safest answer usually involves listening actively, acknowledging their feedback, or adding it to the backlog or improvement. So option C is correct. Next scenario. Your team often skips the retrospective because there is nothing new to discuss. What's correct approach? Options are: cancel all retrospectives. Option B, make retrospective optional. Change the format or ask reflective questions. Or option D, replace with team lunch. So this scenario checks our understanding of how to keep agile retrospectives meaningful and engaging. So here option C is correct. Why? Because when team says there is nothing new to discuss, it usually means the retrospective format has become repetitive or boring, not that there are no improvements needed. So, as facilitator or Scrum Master, you should refresh the format. You can try start, stop, continue, or what went well, what didn't, what can be improved, or 5 ways root cause analysis. So, use deeper reflective questions like what slowed us down this sprint, what's one thing we should never do again. So this help uncover hidden issues and continuous improvement. So in articulation examination, if the question is about team growth, improvement, or reflection, the best answer is usually the one that promotes continuous improvement and engagement. So here option C is correct. Next scenario, a new colleague avoids eye contact and speaks softly during team meetings. How should you interpret this behavior? So options are: they are unprepared, they are not confident, cultural differences in communication style, or they dislike the project. So this scenario tests your awareness of cultural differences in non-verbal communication. So here option C, Asia or Middle East and Africa, avoiding eye contact is not a sign of weakness. It's seen as a sign of respect, politeness, or humility, especially towards senior. So speaking softly can also reflect a formal or respectful communication style, not necessarily lack of confidence. So instead of making assumptions, always consider the cultural context before judging someone's behavior in meeting. So this shows cultural sensitivity and emotional intelligence. In articulation or intercultural communication exam, if the question involves body language, eye contact, tone, or silence, always consider whether it may be due to cultural differences or not attitude or confidence issue. So option C is correct. Next question. While speaking with team members from another country, they keep interpreting you. What could be the reason? So options are: they are rude, their culture sees overlap as enthusiasm, they don't respect you, or they want to end the call early. So this scenario tests our awareness of culture differences in conversational norm. So here option B is correct. Why? Because in some cultures, for example Latin America or some Middle Eastern countries, people may speak over each other during conversations. This is not intended to be rude, rather overlapping speech is often a sign of engagement, interest, or enthusiasm. So instead of assuming disrespect or impatient, recognize that different cultures have different norms for turn taking in conversation. So this shows cultural sensitivity and emotional intelligence. So in exams, if someone interprets talk quickly or overlaps your speech, first consider cultural norms rather than assuming negative intent. So here option B is correct. Next scenario. Your team includes someone from a culture that value group harmony. They rarely offer individual opinions in meeting. How can you involve them more effectively? Options are: force them to speak. Option B, ask direct yes no questions. Option C, provide written survey or small group discussions. Option D, avoid assigning them critical tasks. So this scenario tests our understanding of culture differences in participation style. Here option C is correct, as in collectivist culture common in parts of Asia, Latin America and Africa, people often prioritize group harmony over individual opinion. So speaking up in large meeting can feel uh, uncomfortable. By using alternative formats like written survey, one-on-one conversation, or small group discussion, team members can share their ideas safely and thoughtfully without disrupting group harmony. So, when working with team members from collectivist culture provides safe indirect ways for them to contribute rather than pushing them to speak publicly. So here option C is correct. Next scenario. In multicultural team, some members always show up late for meetings, causing frustration. What is culturally sensitive way to address this? So here options are: send them warnings, set fixed penalties, clarify expectation around time and punctuality, or exclude them from meeting. So this scenario tests our awareness of culture differences in perception of times. So here option C is correct, as different cultures view time differently. So some culture treat schedules flexibly and prioritize relationships over strict punctuality. Other expect stick adherence to time. So by clearly communicating expectation for meeting starts time, deadlines and responsiveness, you establish shared norms without offending or alienating team members. So this approach shows cultural sensitivity, promotes mutual understanding and reduce frustration in multicultural team. So in exam, always assume difference in behavior may be culturally influenced. Clarifying expectation is more effective than punishment. So here option C is correct. Next scenario. While presenting to executives, you use too many technical details. Their attention starts to drop. What should you do next time? Options are: add more technical slides, use simpler language and focus on impact, talk even faster, send the slides and skip the meeting. So here this scenario tests our ability to tailor communication to your audience. So here option B is correct, as executives and senior stakeholders are usually more interested in business value, outcomes and strategic impact than the technical words. So overloading them with technical details can cause attention loss and reduce engagement. So by simplifying your language, highlighting key results and showing how your work affects business goals, you make your presentation more effective and memorable. So this demonstrates strong communication, audience awareness, and executive presence. So in exams, always adapt your communication style to the audience. For non-technical stakeholders, focus on impact, result, and high-level insights rather than deep technical details. So here, option B is correct. Next scenario. You are explaining a solution to a client and they interrupt to say, can you keep it short and simple? How should you respond? Options are: ignore them and continue, take offense and stop talking, summarize your point clearly and check for understanding, or say you don't understand the topic. So here this scenario tests our ability and client adaptability and client communication skills. So the correct option is option C. Why? Because client value clarity and brevity. If they ask you to simplify, it's cute to adjust your communication style. Summarizing key points concisely and confirming their understanding ensure the client stays engaged and confident in your expertise. So these approach demonstrate professionalism, active listening, and respect for client's time. So in exam, always tailor your explanation to the audience. When client asks your simplicity, focus on high level insights and outcome, not technical values. So option C is correct. Okay, thanks for watching. So that's the end of our part 2 where we have covered 10 questions. In upcoming videos, we'll cover again next 10 questions from different topics for articulation examination. So thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe.